corrosion. Then there is something called self-healing. These two I will mention. Otherwise, for sure, there is this cost effectiveness, then durability are two other factors, but these two I found the most.
Sir, I think network issue your
Am
side.
I audible? Am I audible now? Hello?
बीच बीच में सर डिस्कनेक्ट हो रही वॉइस वॉइस एंड स्क्रीन भी हैंग हो रही सर.
Is it okay now?
यस सर.
Okay. Okay. So, the key features, as I was talking about the features of galvanized steel. One is this corrosion in uh, corrosive environment. Then another was self-healing. What is self-healing? So this is a unique feature of galvanized steel is the ability to self-heal if any kind of small scratches or abrasions are there. So when zinc coating is damaged, the zinc near the scratch it corrodes instead of the steel that will offer continuous protection. So this is there. Then as you said, there are different kinds of galvanization. One is hot dip galvanization, where your steel will be immersed in some molten zinc. So steel reacts with zinc to form a series of some zinc Fe alloy. And as I said, hot dip galvanization will provide you thick and more durable coating. This is one. Second is electro galvanization. And electroplating, as the name suggests. Electro galvanization. What do you do in electroplating? So the steel is placed in a solution of zinc, right? And an electric current is passed through it. It will cause a thin layer of zinc to adhere to the surface. So this will provide you thinner, smoother coating compared to the hot dip coating, right? Now, now, uh, now one of the key challenge for welding of galvanized steel, this is electroplating. One of the key challenges zinc coating vaporization. No, so zinc coating. What will happen? Zinc has a low melting point, right? This is somewhere around 400, and boiling point is somewhere around 900 compared to steel that will melt around 1539, as you said. So during welding, the heating that will quickly vaporize the zinc coating in the weld area. And when it will vaporize, it will release something called zinc oxide fumes. Yeah. So zinc oxide fumes will be getting generated. Those are toxic if you inhale it. So this will require adequate ventilation or use of personal protective equipment, like you can use respirators always. This is one of the key challenge for uh, galvanized steel weldability. Then of course you can have some porosity, you can have some weld contamination. If you're vaporizing zinc, that can cause some increased weld spatter. So those are there. Okay, let me note it down. Weld spatter, porosity, and contamination. Okay, why don't we let's let's do few question and answer, then we'll come to
All these are
huh?
all these are defect.
What happened?
These are welding defects, no sir?
These are welding defects. Yeah, these are
No,
challenges.
no sir. Weld spatter porosity. Yes, sir. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, sir.
yeah. Should I move?
Yes, sir. No problems.
Okay, let's have some question and answers. Then if time permits, we can have something called grain boundary segregation, and then we can have what else? Yeah, fine. There are
This is
two.
true.
So in general, carbon steel with coating of aluminum and zinc shows higher weldability than uncoated steels. This is actually false. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If chromium, if it contain chromium, then
yeah,
better corrosion resistance and other things.
yeah,
Okay.
this is false. Next, welding of aluminized steel is difficult using resistance spot welding due to
Due to high conductivity of aluminum coating.
C. Perfect. So C is correct option. Soldering of aluminum steel can be performed if it is associated with. So soldering temperature is very low. Okay. Now, if you are doing any kind of slow heating process, the the time exposure time will be very high over there, right? So it should not happen that it is going towards the melting of aluminum. So there is this option called cleaning and fast heating. So soldering of aluminum coated steel can be performed if it is associated with cleaning and fast heating. You agreed?
Yes, sir.
Next, in general, electroplating leads to thick coating while hot dipping leads to development of thin coating of zinc in galvanized steel. Is this true or false?
True, sir.
This is true. Hot dipping will provide you thick coating compared to electroplating.
It's
Electroplating will
hard.
provide you more precise and thin and uniform coating. Just think of it. So in hot dip, you do not have any control over your uh, process. So you just dip and whatever the reaction will happen, it will happen. In electroplating, you can control the current, you can control the time, you can control the separation distance between two electrodes. So all those factors are in your hand, and that's how you can create some uniform and thin and precise coating in electroplating. However, in terms of durability, the hot dip coating is uh, much better and reliable because of its thickness, of course. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any question? Okay. So we have come to this question number 5. Next, I will talk a little bit on this something called, let me insert, something called grain boundary segregation. So grain boundary segregation of zinc, grain boundary segregation of zinc. What will happen uh, for zinc is during welding of your galvanized steel. So basically tendency of zinc atoms to concentrate at the grain boundaries of the steel. That is my grain boundary segregation. So that will happen especially in heat affected zone. Okay. Now during welding, the temperature of your base metal, which is steel metal, that will exceed the boiling point of zinc, right? That will exceed uh, this 900 degree C, right? That will cause my zinc coating to vaporize near the weld pool. And when it will get vaporized, what will happen? They will diffuse into the steel's microstructure, especially into the grain boundaries. Because grain boundary, they act as paths for lower energy and faster diffusion than the grain interior, right? So grain boundary promotes the diffusion, faster diffusion paths for lower energy. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So that is there, grain boundary segregation. And what will be the effect of zinc segregation during welding? There will be this defect called liquid metal embrittlement, what I was talking that time. So zinc is in your liquid state and it penetrates the grain boundaries of the steel at high temperature, and that will lead me to the formation of some crack along your grain boundary path. So liquid metal embrittlement is also called intergranular cracking. Okay, so cracks form along the grain boundaries and they reduce the toughness, ductility of your steel. And cracking can propagate into the base metal, compromising your overall strength, compromise your integrity of your weld structure. compromise your weld strength. So those are there. Grain boundary segregation. Any question from or are you getting the concept?
No, sir.
Huh?
No,
You are
sir.
get
No question.
okay. No, I asked about you are getting the concept what I am talking in terms of grain boundary segregation. Mhm. You know, this is also called zinc penetration cracking. Zinc penetration cracking. This is same of what I have explained right now. Zinc penetration cracking. Grain boundary segregation of zinc is also known as this zinc penetration cracking. Okay, so if you have no question, let's move to question again. Question 6. Shielded metal
Shielded
are, yeah,
metal arc welding process is better. Yeah, better than gas metal arc welding.
this is true.
This is a true.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
right. Fine. So next we'll move to this stainless steel. Okay. Now I will try to
Yes,
make it
sir.
brief. I will try to make it brief. I don't know how. Fine. So in corrosion resistant stainless steel, there are three different steel structure. So
I
you have,
think ferrite.
uh-huh, can you come
Ferrite
again?
structure, sir.
Yeah, right. So there are three different structures. Ferritic is one of those. So ferritic stainless steel is there. So you have already answered one of the question. I will come to that. So ferritic stainless steel is one of those. Uh, this is composed mainly BCC phase. Just to have some information, ferritic stainless steel, ferrite is having BCC phase. Now, if you add chromium in your ferritic stainless steel, that will tends to stabilize the alpha Fe or delta Fe in high temperature counterpart, right? So all those are BCC structure and they merge into some form called gamma loop. So if you see this if you see this iron chromium phase diagram, you can check iron chromium phase diagram. There is this something called gamma loop where over here you will have alpha Fe in the temperature range of 800 and above some temperature range of 1400 you are having delta Fe and over here you will having liquid and you will have some sigma phase based on chromium percentage. So this will be something like this. So you can refer the phase diagram of iron chromium. This is called sigma phase. Okay, just assume that I'm
Yes,
talking right. And so, yeah, this delta Fe and alpha Fe can merge into this form called gamma loop. And yeah, then there is this martensitic stainless steel. What will happen in martensitic stainless steel? These kind of stainless steel behave like iron chromium alloys, which will contain less than 12% chromium inside this gamma loop. Okay, so this will be less than 12%
Yes, sir.
chromium. It will contain less than 12% chromium. And this alloy solidifies as delta ferrite and transform to austenite while you will cool the structure. And if your cooling rate is sufficiently rapid, as in case of welding, the austenite that forms that may transform into martensite. These are well-known things. And then you have this austenitic stainless steel. What is there in austenitic stainless steel? If you add nickel, which is FCC, if you add nickel into iron chromium alloy, what that will do,
Yes, sir.
that will widen the range over which austenite will exist. Okay, so austenite
Yes, sir.
existing range that gets widened, that gets increased. And because of that, the stability at low temperature for austenites, that also will get increased if you add nickel over there. So austenitic stainless steel will contain at least, the composition range is at least 15% chromium and enough nickel to maintain a stable austenitic structure over 1000 degrees. Okay, so these are my three kind of stainless steel structures. Now, in austenitic stainless steel, there is something called weld decay. What is that? In austenitic stainless steel, there is something called weld decay. So the heat affected zone, what it will form during welding of austenitic stainless steel, if it contains more than 0.05% carbon, if it contains more than that amount of carbon, that can be susceptible to a form of intergranular corrosion, which is called weld decay. This is also a form of intergranular. Can you understand this as intergranular? I am not sure. Intergranular corrosion. Okay. So the reason behind is this: weld decay in austenitic stainless steel is a result of precipitation of chromium carbide at grain boundaries. Chromium carbide. Chromium carbide. precipitation. Okay, so this is called sensitization. So if chromium carbide precipitates at your grain boundary, this is called sensitization. Okay. Mhm. Any question?
No, sir.
So if chromium carbide precipitates at grain boundaries, the areas adjacent to the grain boundaries will be depleted of chromium. So it will be something, if I draw some schematic, it will be something like this. So let's say this is one grain boundary. This is my grain boundary, something like this. So this is one grain. Let's say this is grain 1, this is grain 2, this is grain 3. And over here, chromium will get depleted at the boundary. Okay. And because of that, uh, those areas become anodic. So if you have heard of this something called galvanized corrosion, you just check what is this galvanized corrosion. There will be basically movement of electrons from anodic to cathodic portion, right? So those areas become anodic to the rest of grain and they are preferentially attacked in corrosive media. So this is what is called as sensitization. Now, yeah, fine. Actually, I had a lot. Fine, I will keep it short. I will keep it short. So I will directly come to the remedies. So what can be done in terms of remedies? Or yeah. So weld decay in austenitic stainless steel can be avoided by doing these things. Remedies of weld decay. What are those? As I told, post-weld heat treatment is always there. So if you do post-weld heat treatment, so your weldment can be heated to some temperature range of 1000 or 1100, followed by some quenching operation, right? So this high temperature heat treatment will dissolve the chromium carbide that has precipitated during welding, and quenching prevents its reformation. Okay, so this is one of the remedy. Then what you can do, you can reduce your carbon content. Reduction of carbon content. So the low carbon grades, like 304, 316L. So these are grades, okay? 304L. These are grades of SS. These are low carbon grades of stainless steel. They are designed to have uh, less than 0.035% carbon, okay? So less than 0.035% carbon. to reduce the susceptibility to weld decay. What else you can do? You can add some strong carbide formers so that your carbon can dissolve. Strong carbide, not strong carbide formers. So what are those? So the elements like titanium, niobium, they are having greater affinity for carbon than chromium. So they form carbides more easily than chromium. Okay. So yeah, that is there. Then there is something called, this is the last part, knife life attack. So this is also a defect in corrosive environment. Mhm. So stabilized austenitic stainless steel such as 321 grade, they are stable austenitic stainless steel. Or 347 grade, they are stabilized austenitic stainless steel. They are not susceptible to weld decay. However, they can be susceptible to this different kind of intergranular corrosion. What happened during knife life attack? This is also by precipitation of chromium carbide at grain boundaries. So this is also due to precipitation of chromium carbide at grain boundaries, but it differ from the weld decay in two ways. What are those? One is knife life attack occurs in a narrow region. The narrow region will be immediately adjacent to the weld metal. This weld decay doesn't happen just adjacent to the weld region. This happen more on the heat affected zone. I should have drawn some sketches, but fine. So just remember that this is this happen immediately adjacent to the weld metal. And second is, this occurs in stabilized grade stainless steel. Okay, occur in stabilized grade stainless steel. Okay, so I will stop explaining things over here. Just move to the question and finish the questions, and then we will finish the session over there. Okay, so tell me, chromium, vanadium, and tungsten are what kind of stabilizers are there? Chromium, vanadium, and tungsten. These are ferrite stabilizers. Okay, chromium, vanadium, tungsten are ferrite stabilizers in steel. Next, the weld pool of stainless steel is shielded from oxygen gas because of formation of iron oxide, formation of chromium oxide, formation of chromium carbide, formation of iron carbide. So this is shielded from oxygen gas because of formation of harmful refractory chromium oxide. Next. So the stainless steel effect in stainless steel comes due to the presence of chromium. It's all of chromium. And the final one asked me sodium or calcium fluorides. They are generally used during the welding of stainless steel because it can dissolve harmful chromium oxide. So option D is the correct. Okay. Do you have any questions? If you have no questions, we will finish the session over here. So good luck for your future. Okay. So we will finish the session over here. Thank you.